So welcome to this session. This is yet another mentorship session where we are going to look at your CV. And I'm going to share from experience what are some of the aspects that a good CV should have, especially if you want to attract, let's say, job opportunities. Now, a CV in itself is one of those. It's a marketing document. It's not just any document. It's what markets you to your future employer. In case you are applying for a job, but in case you're not applying for a job, it's the same thing that's going to market you to your future, maybe business. In case you're applying maybe for a grant, whatever you're applying for. CVs are not just applying for jobs, they can apply for other things as well. And that's why I'm trying to bring in that aspect. So we want to see what makes your CV stand out, because in this competitive world, and now it's not just a world that is competitive, but in this world that is AI oriented, how do you have a CV that makes you stand out? So key information for each of the CV, we're going to use this CV for CC and Maria as a dummy CV. And we're going to be able to see what we can learn from it. I'm also going to review it and give you what I think. So from the names, CC and Maria, and then the address, phone number, email, these are very good details to have. I would encourage if this person had a surname, because they had these like English names. If they had the surname, to be good to add it, because usually the names that you have here should mirror the names that you have on your academic documents. I like the fact that the email somehow mirrors them as an applicant. I know sometimes we apply for emails when we are maybe trying to join the social media platforms and we use any emails. Sometimes we use pseudonyms or whatever it is. As you go through your professional journey, your email should really mirror. And also, do not use somebody's email to send your CV. Create an email. These days, it's creating a Gmail takes you less than 10 minutes and you have your Gmail. So just create a Gmail within your names, both your names. It's also easy for somebody to relate, because sometimes they are shortlisting based on the emails. So you don't want somebody to see a different email to even see another email of see another name when it comes to how you've named your CV. Yeah. So that I credit CC and Maria on how she drafted her CV. Phone number is very important. Now, there are other details of Uganda, like nationality, marital status, or sex, gender, whatever it is. Now, some of those details are yes important, but they are not a must. So why they are not a must is because you do not want to create bias from the person who is looking at your CV, because you've included married and maybe they're not looking for somebody who is married, or maybe you've included and you're saying what, maybe you're saying yet you're Kenyan, yet you're in Uganda. Somebody will say it's Kenyan. What are they looking for in Uganda? Or I guess you're applying in Kenya and you say you maybe from Tanzania. Somebody may just have a bias over you. Of course, that is not really human. The biases are not human. So it's being able to balance through, making sure. But when you read a job advert and the job advert says somebody should be married, or somebody should, let's say, be a Ugandan by nationality, if those things have been stipulated, well and good, you can go on to include them, because at the end of the day, when they are assessing your CV, they're assessing to see if at all you have those things. Today I was discussing with one of my mentees who was telling me they applied to Bank of Uganda, and they thought that they were hitting all the points when it came to the requirements of the job. But the job required that somebody should have had 30 years at the time of application. And my mentee only had 27. So he says he was not shortlisted for that reason. So in case the job advert stipulates an age, then you should clearly put the age there as one of those things. Of course, there is another advice that says that in case maybe stipulates the age, then do not include age on your CV such that it doesn't bias the person who is looking at your CV, because when they know that you are below 30 and the job requires somebody of 30, maybe that is the first thing that they will look at to disqualify you before even going down to the detail of your CV. Anyway, that is all. It's all trying to try out things here and there. But if at all you have a key requirement that is within the job that they're advertising for, make sure that you include it there. And now this takes me to a key conversation that I keep sharing with my mentees, that do not have like a standard CV that you submit for each of the job opportunities. Make sure that for each job opportunity that you see, you get down to update your CV to make sure that it captures some of those aspects. That if somebody has this job description and then they also have your CV, they see a matching aspect between the two things. This is also very important because in the era of technology, people are not just going to look at your CVs, but systems are looking at your CVs. So you apply for a job and you're like 100 of you. Now the 100 of you, what they do basically do is they get your CVs and put them in the system. You've seen job adverts where they ask you apply through a system. The key reason is that the system is going to shortlist. So somebody just puts a prompt and says, shortlist for me the best 5 that have a high matching rate with the job description. So it means that it's also important for whatever you're going to include in your CV, not to divert so much with what in the job description. So that is key for you as an individual. And then now I want to move to the professional summary. So the professional summary is a key requirement for a good CV. Of course, it's not a must. Some people use maybe career objective, but any CV these days at least have a professional summary. You know this thing where somebody tells you, tell us about yourself. That key interview question that a number of people have come across. So even with this, it's more like um, you're giving a summary that somebody, before they go through your CV, they should at least have an idea of who you are. Some of you have like 8 pages CVs, or you have like 4-page CV kind of CV. Now, there's a key, they usually say that a recruiter has about 7 seconds to make judgment on your CV. And I think I feel for them because I've been on this other end of a recruiter where you have a job position, you have over 100 people that have applied, you need to replace, let's say, the person as soon as possible. Maybe you have your boss who is telling you, people have applied, I need the best 5 people for shortlist such that they can be interviewed tomorrow. And then you're going through the entire CVs that you've received. So you're asking yourself, like, what is going to be my best to make sure that I do this job a bit fast? Of course, to you is that as applied, you will feel the pinch because if your CV does not is not attractive or does not grab the attention within the first 7 seconds, much likely it might be dropped. So when you're working on your CV, it's both the content, but also how the CV looks. So that's very important. So you can see that Anne Maria made sure the name is highlighted. You can see they brought in aspects of professional summary, and it's in bold. As we proceed, I'll be able to also comment on her professional summary, but not forget there are people also who want to add photos on their CVs. Now, photos, unless the job advert has required you to include a photo on your CV, do not include it there. One, to reduce the bias, but to also make sure that if at all the system, the ATS system that's going to sieve out your CV that you've applied through the system, this one that's going to shortlist systems, those ATS systems do not work well with photos. So your CV is likely to have issues in there. The other thing that I also don't want to forget is when you submit your CV, make sure that you submit it in PDF, because sometimes you're using versions of, let's say, Microsoft Word that are different from those to the person you're sending to. Unless somebody has said include academic documents, there are people whom you've asked CVs and you find them embedding everything, academic documents within their CV, and the document is so heavy. You see those times where somebody says, do not send beyond these MBs. It is important because some email domains cannot accept documents that are more than a certain capacity. When you're sending your CV, do not just get to the email and just attach the CV and send the email. Have at least a subject, like have a subject to your email. Also write something at least. You see what you would have written in a cover letter, like maybe following your advert for this role. I wish to express my interest into this opportunity. So and so I have this number of experience. I've acquired these key skills regarding my level of education. I have a bachelor's degree in this. I'm also pursuing my CPA qualification. Kindly find attached my CV to learn more about my experience and how best I fit for the role. Have something in there that somebody opens your email, their interest not just about their CV, but even how the professionalism that you've demonstrated when you have submitted this CV. It's very important. So, professional summary, back professional summary. When it is the professional summary here, we are trying to also look at and see what is that somebody is looking for this role. Do not just have a standard professional summary. Have something that you know that, okay, if at all I have my professional summary, it speaks to what somebody is looking out for. Some of you are, let's say, on LinkedIn. So there's that about section that people usually have. I want to use one of my CVs. Let me see if I can open one of my CVs and just show you what I wrote. The professional summary should, of course, not be very detailed, but should also speak to the job that you're applying for. Sometimes it's just the background. We see, okay, this is my CV. So let me just try to share. So this is a consultancy CV because that is my role. But I just want to focus on this background. Of course, mine has the photo. Somebody might clearly say, yeah, but yours does the photo, and you don't ask us not to. Now, when we are applying for jobs in consultancy, we do what we call proposals. So within the proposals, we include our CVs. And in those proposals, ideally, we're supposed to include our photos. So because it's not like a job where they're going to use the system, shortlist you, and then here, when you're applying for consultancy jobs, they really want to see that the consultants. So that might vary, but my attention is here. So here, my background, Samuel Ivanda is a finance and grants management specialist with over 11 years of experience working with various organizations, the public, private, la, la, la. Currently, as a manager in international development services, he's involved in leadership and execution of financial management advisory, financial capacity building, interventions, management reviews, financial monitoring reviews. Now, all these things, much like they were within the proposal that we are trying to write, they were required on the other side of the person who was looking for. So the same thing you do also for your job. Make sure that whatever you're including in here mirrors somehow how the other job might be looking out for. So I go on to also speak about before joining KPMG was a partnership finance lead at Save the Children, providing financial and grants management supervision of these entities with these different donor funded. The proposal we're trying to apply for was also donor funded. So this came out very key. So he also worked as a finance manager at Save the Children, was responsible for overseeing. So it's basically more of tell us about yourself. So that's what I was trying to share within that. So your professional summary is also, yeah, it is also your background as well. There's nothing really different. Let me see if I have any other CV that might bring out what I'm trying to share. Okay, and if you let me see. So I have a CV template here. Okay, great. So let me share with you one of the CVs of one of my mentees that we are working on. Okay. So this is Birunji Anet. Birunji Anet was applying for one of the jobs, and he sent me her CV, so we worked on it together. So I just want to share with you, and especially for those that are in the accounting field, this might relate very well. So you can see she's saying accountant of 4 years experience with a strong background in finance and tax. I'm a detailed oriented and result driven with knowledge of Uganda tax. Now, in the job advert that I remember we're applying for, this was actually a URA job that she was applying for. So she goes on to say, I aim to leverage my expertise in financial analysis, budgeting. So you can see that she's trying to share some of the key skills that she really has. Then she goes on to say she's also proficient in implementing accounting principles for accurate reporting and strategic decision making. She also has experience with working with the accounting software such as QuickBooks Tally. I have continuously developed my understanding of the Public Finance and Accountability Act. Now, this was also a requirement as part of the job description. Like they were saying, you need to have at least some experience in these aspects. She also was highlighting her degree here and then her being a finalist of the CPA program. So you can see when you look at the professional summary, even before you run through the CV down, you say that, okay, let me look at what she has. You already have some idea of what this person can actually do. So the professional summary, its intention is just to give me the highlight of who you are before you get down into the details. Because I may not, this is a 7-page CV. So I may not have a lot of time. Like I've told you, my manager has told me I need to shortlist 5 people out of 100. So I may not have really time to go through each CV, but the professional summary supports me. So that is very important. So not so long, but make sure that is on point. Okay. So I want to reshare an CV which we're trying to go through such that we can be able to. Okay. So when it comes to here, so Anne was trying to share and say that she has experience working at PwC between 2024, 2025. I like the fact that despite her being an intern, she was trying to share some experience. And again, this is also for people who maybe students, or you just leaving university and you don't have a lot of experience. You can share your internship experience because at the end of the day, it gives you leverage. So it's also she also has education. Now, this is what I want to share. Whenever you're writing your CV, somebody will ask, should I start with experience? Should I start with education? Or should I start with skills? Now, let me just mention around education and experience. I'll say that start with that makes you stand out. Now, I'm going to explain. There are people who have experience but may not have the credentials. For example, you've been an accountant for the last 5 years. This job requires that you should have maybe a degree and you have a diploma. If you're in that case, start with experience, such that somebody first appreciates your experience before they are biased by looking at your education. In case you think maybe it's the education that makes you stand out, like my mentee here, Nora, who was a CPA, you like, I may not have experience, but I need to show these people that have the CPA. Maybe make me stand out. So you find something that, because at the end of the day, you see, as somebody's going through your CV, they are making opinion about you. So what is that you want first share that you think may give you advantage in the application? So that is about you. So it's the educational experience. There is no really order, but also as you grow in your career, you get realized, especially for higher roles, you get realized that people are no longer hiring you because of what you studied. People are hiring you because of what you can do. So it means that their key decision is mostly around what are you exactly doing at this time. Okay? So quite important for you. So experience, now when you're drafting your experience, make sure that you don't just list the job descriptions that were within the job role that you are doing. Make sure that you bring out what exactly you did. That is what will set you apart, because anyone can put job description there in their CV. You can see that here Anne was trying to share some aspects that should really demonstrate that this is not ChatGPT information, but it is somebody actually who did the work. Now, the first, let's say the first 4 roles that you share, some of you have like 8 roles or even 10 roles. So the first 10 roles that you share here should mirror at least what you're going to do in the other job that you're applying for. So do not confuse the person who's shortlisting by listing irrelevant things. I know you might be doing a lot of things in your current role, but make sure that you prioritize things that are within the advertised role that apply to whatever you're doing or you've done in the past. Now, the job that you're currently holding before you apply for another opportunity matters more even than all other roles that you've done. Why? Because somebody is specifically looking at what are you currently doing? Can you transfer that knowledge? So for some people, you make sure that what you're doing currently is comprehensive in a way that it represents you as somebody who is not doing anything so much different from what you're aspiring to do. If maybe you're applying for a higher role, maybe you have been an assistant and now you're applying for an accountant's role, or you've been an accountant, now you're applying for a manager's role. In case you've done some manager tasks, maybe through delegation or anything like that, then you include them as well because they'll make you stand out. So the other thing is, of course, when it comes to, of course, if you have other roles that maybe you've done in the previous, make sure that you also present them in a way that positions you for the job you're applying for. Do not really put a lot of information there that is irrelevant. Make sure that you stick to things that make you relevant. Education. Now, education, here you're bringing down your degree and your, let's say, certifications, in case you've pursued those. This is important. Some people separate education with certification. In case, for example, you have SCCA, you have CPA, you have CIMA, you can just have like maybe a section for certification. But for things you've studied within your education, you can include them here. Now, there are also things that you may not really have studied. Okay, maybe you've studied them, but they are short courses. So you don't want to crowd a lot of your education with these. You can have maybe a separate section called other trainings. Then within the education, start with the recent one and relevant one as well. Because again, there's somebody who's judging as they go through your CV. And then, of course, this person included financial modeling and what. Now they went to skills. Skills are also important. In some places, some people may choose to, let's start with, instead of starting with experience, they start with the skills. So you can see, for example, here in this CV, somebody started with skills and competences. What I want to comment about skills and competences is balance through between soft skills and technical skills. So you can see that here, this person had teamwork, some aspects of maybe innovation oriented, analytical skills. These may seem to be soft skills, but they went on to include things like financial analysis, financial reporting. And when it comes to skills, so you see every job advert, after they have listed the requirements, like the roles and responsibilities you're going to do, there's usually that section where they speak about what may call other skills that are needed. Now, a lot of people miss that. I just want to show you because some people underrate why people have actually included those things. Let me just say accountant job in Uganda. So I just want to pick one job that has been posted today. So there's a job here. It's a job or by this is a job by Fuzu. Let me share my screen so that you can see it very well. So it is financial account and general ledger. So I want to go, okay. I see it's okay. Let me. They just have a something small, but it says description. What do you bring? You bring a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance, pre-qualification, part qualification of finance of CPA or SCCA. Of course, these are important things. Even in your, you've seen what we put in the professional summary. You make sure that you're stipulating these. I think demonstrated progressive accounting experience in a structured environment with solid working knowledge of the Uganda statutory requirements, pay as you earn, NSF, VAT, and IFRS. Now, these aspects were also highlighted, but even you within your, let's say, your current role, in case you're handling some of these aspects, you bring them up. In case you're a student, but you've never done these things, but you understand them with, or you can actually do them, you can include them within within either your skills section or within the other section for professional summary. So you can see here they went on to clearly say proven hands-on experience with ERP system, Microsoft Dynamics 365 is a meaningful advantage. Now, I wanted to share and say that when it comes to the section for skills, in case you've worked with the ERP system, include it because that's what they are looking out for. Again, it goes back to what I just mentioned and said, make sure that for whatever job you're applying for, you're not just, let's say, what can I say? You are not just using the same CV across everywhere. You're doing some work around your CV to make sure that if in case somebody was using let's say system shortlist, they can easily shortlist your, they can shortlist you. I just wanted to share. Okay, just want to make sure that you can see my screen. So this is the account. This is the standard job advert. So you can see this is the role they're looking for, a senior accountant. But when you go down, let's uh, the skills and competencies. Can you see them? They are here. So it means that even when it comes to, let's say, your CV, in case you have these skills, make sure that you don't miss them out. Because at the end of the day, this is what is going to make you stand out. So within your key skills and competencies in your CV, make sure that these come out key. There's a reason why they've included this experience, and there's a reason why they have included these skills and competencies. So some people do not focus so much on this. They just say, since I have a bachelor's degree, I have a CPA, but they don't focus on these things. Now, one of the things I'll tell you is if it's a job advert, it's a job advert. Do not think that people will be like, but if this person has CPA, they have strong analytical and financial reporting skills. No, people are not going to assume so. That's the reason why they included the CPA and they also included this under skills. So it means that you have to stipulate it. You have to highlight it. So it's very important. Do not make assumptions. Or you're like, oh, maybe when I'm invited to the interview, I'll be able to bring this. Make sure you include it there. Because if at all it's a system shortlisting you, the system has been given your CV and a job description. They're trying to assess, and your CV is rating low because you do not have the keywords that are within the job that you're applying for. So that is important if you're applying for any job that you're applying for. Let me just get to here. So back to Annie's CV, where she was listing the competencies. So these are good, and you can see she has proficiency in Microsoft Word, communication, time management. So she brought in financial reporting. Somehow, I expected her to have more skills in there. Okay. The section of language, very important. Of course, there are jobs that require you to know, to have some level of knowledge of certain language, so that you can be able to stipulate that. Then we also have certifications, like I mentioned earlier on. In case you have any certifications, you have the separate section for them, just like the way she had. Yeah, so that is what I would see within an Maria's CV, and you also saw the same thing within when it came to Birunji's CV from wherever she was working and her experience. So you can see within the sections, she went on to share. She has education and training right there. And then she also has hobbies. Yeah, hobbies have been part of CVs for a long period of time. But unless maybe really, you may not want to lengthen your CV unless it is really required. So in a nutshell, that's what I can share about CVs for now. I think the key goal for you as an individual when you're working on your CV, make sure that you're standing out. The CV is making sure it is helping you stand out. In the era of artificial intelligence, a lot of people are going to ChatGPT and saying, work for me a CV around. It is not, I'm not saying you shouldn't use ChatGPT, but use it responsibly. After I've worked on my CV like this one, I can maybe copy this information and paste it in ChatGPT and say, help me correct the spelling errors. Or I can also maybe just put this sentence here of I effectively manage this and say, help me maybe correct the grammar in this sentence. such that when somebody looks at your CV, it does not seem to be like it is just a manufactured CV, but there's a human touch that has actually come through on your CV. And before you know it, somebody, yeah, is interested in you in the job. And I usually mention and say that do not just beautify your CV with a number of colors. Tables is also one of those things that the ATS systems struggle with. Okay, so make sure that you're not putting a lot of those tables into your CV. That is what I can say for now. ATS, I think I've used the word ATS. ATS is applicant tracking system. It's been a system that has been around for a long period of time, but even with the so-called, what can I say, with AI in place, because it was using AI, and now with AI advancement, it can even do more. So you just put up a job advert, people apply through the system. You can ask the system to shortlist for you. These days, recruiters are also using what we call, of course, they recruit through LinkedIn. So make sure that you at least have an updated LinkedIn profile that at least mirrors aspects around your CV. Okay? Such that when you submit your CV and somebody is trying to reference back to see if at all the information you submitted in your CV mirrors what is on your LinkedIn, they at least find similar things. They are not really so much far away. So I hope you found some value in this. I'd like to hear from you in the comment section. And yeah, I'm also happy to take questions, and I'm also happy to review your CV. You can be able to share with me your CV when I'm going to just share my contact in the description, such that in case you want me to look at your CV, I can be able to look at and give you some feedback before you apply. Thank you.